It's the last day of March. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our major news bulletin. This is News 360. My name is Pa Kwesi Asari.
And I am Maisha Yakubu Khalid. Coming up in the bulletin this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Parliament to consider 3 tax bills from government to shore up revenue as part of measures to secure IMF deal.
Still in Parliament, minority accuses government of failing to release allocations for the National Health Insurance Scheme despite collecting over 3.6 billion cedis.
And on the international front, prosecutors in New York preparing for Donald Trump's surrender to court officials after he became the first U.S. president to be charged with a crime. Right, welcome to our major news bulletin. This is News 360. We really do appreciate your time. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Visit our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. Also remember that we're live on your DSTV channel 279. Let's begin with the big story for the day, and it's about government's 3 new tax bills, which are currently before Parliament for consideration of the House. Now, the tax handles are the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty and Excise Tax Stamp, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy bills. Now, the Income Tax Bill is expected to rake in some 1.2 billion cedis, whilst the Excise Duty and Excise Tax Stamp bills are expected to raise some 450 million cedis. Now, the Growth and Sustainability Levy is also expected to add some 2.2 billion cedis to the revenue basket. In all, government hopes to generate approximately 4 billion cedis per year to supplement domestic revenue. Now, government says the approval of the bills will help Ghana secure the $3 billion deal with International Monetary Fund. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has charged Parliament to speed up the passage of the 3 revenue bills. Now, the call by the Finance Minister comes in the wake of a pushback from the business community as well as organized labor against the passage of the bills, describing them as unjustified and burdensome. All right, so let's stay a while longer on this developing story. Join me as we go live to Parliament now. Live on Zoom, my colleague Komla Kluche is in Parliament. Komla, thank you very much for your time. The House has taken a break after paying tributes to the memory of the late Kumewu MP. Has the House resumed?
Yes, Parkwesi, the House is just, if you had come in a bit earlier, in about just, say about some 5 seconds, you would have just heard the announcer indicating the Speaker is walking into the chamber. The MPs are in the chamber now. If we have those shots from our live view, you can see that they are inside. Mr. Speaker himself, he himself is in the seat that tells you that the House is ready to have the revenue bills considered. Well, the minority have registered, their displeasure and said that they are opposed to this bill. The only thing they can do is to remain opposed to it, and there isn't much that they can do beyond the numbers that they have. As far as we have cross-checked from their whip system, 136 of them have been equipped in line already to be available, and a good number of them are in the presence of the House. So when it comes to the decision to be made, well, that 136 would do it. Now, on the side of the NPP, we know that, yes, they are equally 136, but they have an additional one, which is the independent member for the Fomena constituency, who is also the second deputy speaker who decides to caucus with them. So he will possibly be giving them the support when it comes to this. Of course, there's evidence that he's been doing that in time past. So it would come back to numbers, but this is not going to be through secret voting. It's just going to be a simple voice vote. If the voice vote is challenged, then that is where the speaker will have to call for a head count. And all of this will be done for the revenue bills one after the other. Like you did mention earlier on, they are 3 in number. 4 billion is expected from all of this. And so it means that we are going to be taking them one after the other. It does appear that will be going so late into the night, and also knowing that today is the final day, we are going a full haul on this.
Komala, we know, according to government, that the 3 tax bills are crucial to government securing an IMF program. And also we've heard throughout the day that the majority side has been trying to lobby the minority MPs to back the measures. What have you been picking up on this?
The minority MPs are not backing down. You would recall, even before this, they had indicated some 3 major things that they are opposed to. One was the controversial CI that is yet to even come. We are not sure if that will be coming. I doubt if that will be coming today. The issue about the passage of the president's nominees, they said they are averse to it. That they failed to carry out that threat. And the last one has to do with the new taxes. It does appear that because of the controversies that have come as a result of last week, for exactly a week ago, that decision was made by the House to approve of the president's nominees. It does appear this time around, the minority MPs do not want to disappoint their base. So, I mean, the talk amongst them is that they don't have a problem with this one at all. It's a complete opposition to this particular one. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's not going to be by a voice, by secret balloting where they may not trust each other, but it's going to be a voice vote. But as to what strategy they may be adopting with this one, we are unaware. The process as stipulated by the standing orders is that it should be by voice vote. If it's a voice vote and it's challenged, fair deal. If it's not, then so. But the majority side has been trying as much as they can, trying to talk things with them. The minority maintains that if you do not get the 4 billion, the country will not grind to a halt. Nothing would happen to the country. We will move on as a country. But the majority, and says that no, it's a prerequisite by the IMF, and that if they are able to do this, then they will be able to get the $3 billion that they are looking for from the IMF. But the question also the minority is asking is, okay, if we give you this 4 billion, I mean, you're not done with the debt restructuring yet. You've done the domestic one. The international one, you're not done with it. So what is the basis that you're going to get the IMF deal? But I mean, a lot of talk is going on, and many of the minority MPs also feel that they are being blackmailed to feel that if they do not accept this, then they are the cause of the woes of the country. But they say that it is in the interest of the country that companies and industries are not overburdened with the taxes that the government is introducing as a result of the IMF deal.
Right, Komala, I've got 2 quick final questions for you. I'm going to box them into one. First of all, you know that there was a lot of anticipation ahead of last week vote, that was on Friday. Again, because of the posturing of the minority side, they had made it abundantly clear to the majority of Ghanaians that they were going to oppose the vote, and then everybody got disappointed. Do these parliamentarians get the sense that a lot of Ghanaians will today be very much disinterested in the outcome of their votes? And what are they saying about it? Secondly, Komala, yesterday you talked about some of the MPs like Adrasafo, for instance, who you said has been quite erratic and inconsistent in terms of her attendance in Parliament. In terms of numbers, what does it look like?
Well, I spoke about the numbers, but let me start with the question regarding whether the MPs have that feeling of expectation from Ghanaians. Yes, the expectation is that despite the fact that they disappointed their base, their supporters, they still think that it's about time that, yes, they redeem that. So they have this opportunity, if they will be able to thwart the effort of the government in realizing this bill's pass, then it may be some respite. But a good number of them are aware. A good number of them are aware that, well, a lot of Ghanaians that they feel that they represent have lost hope in them to be able to give them anything substantial. But what's important is that they feel that even within their own conscience, this is not something that they would approve of or they will be a part of. On the second leg of the question that has to do with the numbers, Sarah Joshafo, I saw him this afternoon. In fact, she actually eulogized the Kumewu MP, like you said early on. I have seen a lot of the majority MPs approach her to talk her in. I'm sure that's been done ostensibly to be able to get her in tune with the fact that she needs to be around. And if it's anything to go by, she has been around for the past 4 days. Today she was in the chamber. She was there before they went on the break. If it's anything to go by, I have not seen her in the chamber because I'm just outside of the chamber and I have not seen her in there as of yet. But if it's anything to go by the presence that she established today, then it means that she would be appearing in the House again to vote. And if she does, it may be a disappointment for many. But if you ask me, Pakwesi, I do not expect that the minority will be able to reject these bills because of the numbers there. The numbers do not go their favor, unless, of course, there's a magic where they've been able to, for want of a better word, infiltrate into the camp of the majority. It doesn't appear they'll be able to do that. And so the majority may be able to have their way again in this.
Komla Kluche, always a pleasure having you. Komla is our parliamentary correspondent. You'll be bringing us up to speed on the very latest developments with regards to these 3 tax proposals and the outcome of it in Parliament.
While still staying in Parliament, as the minority has accused government of failing to release allocations for the National Health Insurance Scheme despite collecting over 3.6 billion cedis earmarked for the sector. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Kwabena Minta-Kando, is asking for a forensic audit of the IT infrastructure of the service. But the majority is asking the NDC MPs to be realistic in their demands.
It was estimated, and in fact, in actual collection, government collected about 3.6 billion Ghana cedis. Out of the 3.6 billion Ghana cedis, government took about 1.7 billion Ghana cedis away. So they were supposed to pay the National Health Insurance Fund about 1.9 billion Ghana cedis. And if you check the formula they presented yesterday, 0 Ghana cedis was paid. Nothing, absolutely nothing has been paid. Now, this is a dangerous trend to collapse the National Health Insurance Scheme. Sometimes you hear that there's an outbreak of measles, there's an outbreak of polio, tetanus, and what have you. It is because some of these allocations are not paid on time, so we don't get the money to buy these vaccines, and it results in this outbreak of vaccines, and sometimes we lose some of our babies and children, and which is quite avoidable. We need to put pressure on government as a matter of urgency to release whatever money that is due the National Health Insurance Authority to be able to run the scheme effectively. During the consideration of the formula, we realized that the allocations, the IT component of the allocation is too high. So last year, for example, it was about 205 million Ghana cedis. Of course, this year it's been brought down to about 83 million Ghana cedis, but we still think that there should be a forensic audit, an independent probe into the IT component of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
I can tell you, but not for the average of 2 months delay in processing. Now, we are averaging 5 months delay in the release of the funding. But there's a broader picture, and the broader picture is the discretionary powers exercised by the Minister of Finance. And it is not peculiar to this minister. Setekpe exercised that powers, and it's run down various governments. But you see, our colleagues should also be fair to admit that regardless of the difficulties, we recorded some very positives. Some positive. For instance, for the first time, childhood cancer has been added onto the bill to be taken care of by NHI. Apart from childhood cancer, sickle cell, then breast cancer, which for a long time have not been part, have all been added. So they should be a bit considerate in their criticisms. We have taken it upon ourselves, and anytime before the formula is laid, leadership meets with them. There was a concern about ICT bill, which suggestion came from our side, and then the entire committee agreed to it, that they should go in for some forensic audits for us to be sure what is happening there. If there's a possibility of duplication of functions and all these are dealt with.
Also, the minority is questioning government's claim that there is excess capacity in power generation in the country. Now, GRIDCO and ECG have announced a 150 megawatts power supply loss as a result of a routine maintenance of Ghana Gas plant in Ituabo. Now, John Jinapo is Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy and Mines Committee and has questioned why arrangements were not made for alternate fuel sources for generation power.
Indeed, what has occasioned this load shedding is as a result of the shutdown of the Ituabo gas processing plant. It is not an emergency. Let me re-emphasize that. It's a planned routine maintenance. And so government, ECG, and the power sector stakeholders knew ab initio that the plant would be turned off. What surprises me is the inability of government and the energy sector stakeholders and handlers to plan and procure liquid fuel. Because most of the plants that we have procured, i.e. Ameri, KTPP, T1, T3, and almost all the thermal plants are dual-fueled plants. Dual-fuel plants are plants that can run on gas and on liquid fuel, be it distillate fuel, light crude oil, or diesel. More importantly, you and I can attest that this government has consistently trumpeted that we have so much excess capacity that we don't even know what to do with it. This government has indicated that we have more than 2,000 megawatts of excess capacity. And so the critical question to ask is that, how can a country or a nation that has excess capacity of more than 2,000 megawatts plunge that same nation into a 2-week period of load shedding arising from a shortfall of just 150 megawatts? Because when you read the GRIDCO statement, it says that the shutdown of the gas processing plant would result in a shortfall of 150 megawatts. The truth is that that narrative that we had excess capacity of 2,000 megawatts is nothing but blatant falsehood. And I buttress that because when the AXA deal, which the Mahama administration entered into, expired this year, this government extended the AXA deal from the original 10 years or 5 years now to 10 years. And so whilst President Mahama signed 5 years, and this government described that as unnecessary, they have increased that to 10 years with take or pay clauses in the AXA deal. And so we called on government and ECG to publish the load shedding table. And I would encourage all consumers to look out for the load shedding so that you can plan your lives to mitigate the adverse impact of load shedding.
Let's do some politics. And after being asked by the party to suspend their political campaigns, the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC members of parliament, are to officially resume campaigning after they've been vetted. Now, according to the Deputy General Secretary, Mustafa Gbande, even though the time given for the suspension ends on Friday, March 31, the parliamentary aspirants will have to wait for directives from the party to go ahead with their campaigns.
On March 8, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, declared Operation Save Our Democracy till March 31 to help its mission of fighting against the Electoral Commission's proposed constitutional instrument, which wants to make the Ghana card the sole identity document to register to vote in the 2024 elections. The party at the time asked its sitting members of parliament to suspend campaign activities in their constituencies with immediate effect. The MPs were also barred from travelling in a bid to get the numbers required to fight against the EC's proposal. It's been a month and the deadline for the directive has ended. Parliament is expected to rise March 31 and MPs have the liberty to continue with campaigns. But Deputy General Secretary of the party, Mustafa Bandi, said the parliamentary aspirants will resume the campaign after the vetting process.
Vetting starts on Monday and ends on Wednesday. After the vetting, constitutionally, people are required to be declared as candidates. And once they are declared as candidates, what the effect is that officially they are now required to start campaigning. So in the directive that was given, which ends today, unless, of course, leadership renew such a directive for whatever reason.
Vetting of aspirants in a number of constituencies have been put on hold until a time the party deemed fit to conduct elections there.
We've done so for strategic and administrative considerations. And when the party is ready to hold elections in those constituencies, we will notify the constituencies.
And now the Ghana Boundary Commission has, for the first time since the ITLOS ruling on the maritime disputes between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, toured both the land and maritime boundaries. The tour was aimed at safeguarding both the land and maritime boundaries of the country. My colleague Joseph Armstrong was with the team and has filed this report.
In September 2017, 3-year-long maritime dispute between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire was brought to closure as the International Tribunal of Law of the Sea unanimously ruled in favor of Ghana. According to the ruling of the Special Chamber of ITLOS, Ghana's oil exploration at the 10 oil fields has in no way violated Cote d'Ivoire's maritime boundary. The chamber rejected Cote d'Ivoire's argument that Ghana's coastal lines were unstable, upholding Ghana's sovereignty over the disputed oil basin, while the tribunal rejected Ghana's claim that Cote d'Ivoire is stopped from making a claim for the disputed territory because of a prior conduct. The chamber equally rejected Ivory Coast's claim that a meridian measurement is used. In consideration of the new boundary, the chamber determined that it starts from boundary 55 to 200 nautical miles away, a position which affirmed Ghana's argument. Ghana's argument of adoption of the equidistance method of delineation of the maritime boundary was accepted. Years after the ruling, the Ghana Boundary Commission, led by Major General Emmanuel Kotia, with support from the Ghana Navy, have toured and inspected both the maritime domain and the land boundaries between both countries. The Commission also, with the use of drones, periodically undertakes patrol along the boundaries.
So it's the first time we are doing inspection after the ruling, and we are using both vessel and also the drone to assist in that exercise. The naval vessel helps us to get 30 nautical miles along the boundary line, and we inspected the boundary, that area, and that place was also peaceful. National
Coordinator of the Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, assured the Commission is well positioned to safeguard the country's boundaries.
The Navy has not reported any negative infringement from anybody so far as the maritime boundary is concerned. We've also been discussing with our Ivorian counterparts for a framework on implementing this ruling. They are very cooperative so far as the implementation aspects of the ruling is concerned.
He called on residents to be vigilant to report any irregularities along the land boundary.
We are going to encourage them to report any unforeseen activities along the international, both the land and maritime boundary. What we want to emphasize is for them to protect our boundary pillars. And let's remember that the boundary pillars is for both, any boundary pillar that you found is for both Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. So if your leg is beyond that boundary pillar, it means that you are in Cote d'Ivoire.
The municipal chief executive of the area expressed worry over the level of neglect of communities along border lines. She appealed to the government to focus more on border communities to encourage them to serve as watchdogs for the country.
Now people feel disappointed that they are on the borders protecting what belongs to us. But it looks as if when the national cake is being shared, they are not part of it. They are not receiving their fair share. All that I'm urging our leaders, our fathers and people who are concerned that as we live along the borders, there is what we also need to get.
Joseph Armstrong, Gold, TV3, Newtown, Jomoro, Western Region.
You're live on News 360 live here on TV3. Up next is some business news. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way. It's me like no other. So anytime you walk and play, you like no other. You are special like Indomie. It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie.
Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beats Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beats Washing Powder.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302-200-390 or 059-692-0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Hello, Alvin, and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Let's begin with happenings on the domestic front, where government is hoping to raise close to 1.5 billion cedis on the treasury market today. This will be done through the issuance of 91-day and 182-day treasury bills to refinance maturing bills worth over 1.2 billion cedis. Now, the amount of 1.34 billion cedis which government wants to raise this today is far less than the 3.2 billion cedis it wanted to raise last week. Now, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana increased the policy rate by 150 basis points to 29.50% to reinforce the pace of disinflation. However, some market analysts believe the target may not be met considering the undersubscription witnessed last week. Now, players across the mining sector are upbeat about the prospect of Ghana's extractive industry, despite what they describe as unfavorable fiscal regime. This comes on the back of the supposed growth and sustainability levy, which would see them pay 1% of their gross production to the state. Now, former president and managing director of AngloGold Ashanti, Eric Esubontin, said the outlook presents hope for the sector, despite the increase in taxes on the operations.
We've had 20 years and over each in this jurisdiction. We are here because we have confidence in Ghana as a mining jurisdiction. When I read out my comments and statements, I did touch on the fact that we see it as a preeminent jurisdiction in the mining industry, and that's why we are here. And that's why we can also look forward 20 years down the line, right, with this joint venture. There would be challenges that come in at certain times, but those would always be short-term challenges. We are able to look beyond that and to see the bigger long-term picture. And that bigger long-term picture is a positive one, in my view.
Reminder, so watching the business news segment here on News 360. Now, it's a new trend of people wrapping money in a basket or bouquet for special occasions, from birthdays to marriage proposals and even send-off parties. While it offers options for people, the Bank of Ghana says the use of CD bank notes for these bouquets is illegal. My colleague Nanekia Mensah Brampa has more.
I haven't received one personally, but this is how it looks like. This is the money bouquet, and I understand we have the money cake, we have the money box, and we have the balloon money. So it comes in different varieties.
The first time I saw a money bouquet, it felt different. A deviation from the use of flowers, which used to be the thing. And over time, it gained popularity, especially on social media, with young ladies often receiving these bouquets.
Money, everyone loves money. Everyone brightens up when they see money. So, and it's a form of showing love to your loved ones, friends, family. It makes people do this more than just sending a normal mobile money.
The increasing demand for this form of gifting has obviously created for vendors a new stream of income. Araba, who has been into events, decor and management, took a chance on the craze barely a year ago and is already reaping the benefits.
What people will miss out is the service charge you receive from it, because if someone should bring, let's say, 100 cedis to 500 cedis, probably you can charge between 150 to 300. So, I mean, people are going to lose money.
But she would have to take a second look at this, because the Bank of Ghana Currency Act 64 speaks about using banknotes for things other than that purpose for which the Currency Act was issued.
It is against the Bank of Ghana policy. You should know that the currency is issued by the central bank and is a legal tender and is only supposed to be used as a medium of exchange. As a medium of exchange. So please, I want to encourage the public, those who are doing it, should desist from doing it. It is not in line with the policy, so you must stop.
As part of the process, banknotes are glued with sellotapes and sticks. Others are either rolled or folded to depict flower bouquets. This, the bank says, goes against the Currency Act 64.
We don't always fold the money, so if we could do it as I've done it, if they would allow us to do it as I have done it today, then I think that would be good. But if not, and they don't want us to do it at all, I think people will lose business.
Few weeks ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria also issued a similar directive which includes legal action against perpetrators. This is how some Ghanaians have been reacting to the new directive.
It defaces the currency and it's not, the best. Because if looking at the 1 cedi note now, it's very, very appalling. It's not even nice. So I don't think it's right for the public to use that to do a bouquet or something.
I don't think it's good for people to be doing it because the money is legal that we use it as a note that we buy stuff. So we don't need to crumble it and fold it like that.
Like Araba, many young entrepreneurs I have interacted with on social media say they will lose a lot of money with this new directive from the central bank.
So for entrepreneurs in this business, today might be the last day most of them will be doing these beautiful ones. It means that my friend Aisha, celebrating her birthday this weekend, will not be getting one of these. But for the Bank of Ghana, the local currency is legal tender and it will remain a medium of exchange and not for giftings. The Bank of Ghana wants individuals to preserve the integrity of the local currency. Nana Ikuya Mensah Brampa, 3 Business.
Good report, Ikuya, but hold on. Aisha would have to receive her bouquet, and of course myself. My birthday is coming up shortly, so when we get our bouquet, then the law will take effect. So keep the presents coming in. You're watching the business news segment here on News 360. Let us know what you make of this particular story. Keep your comments coming in on our Facebook and Instagram page. Let's conclude with some story in the automobile industry. And Kwanzaa Auto Limited, an auto mechanic company headquartered in Takoradi, has unveiled a 60-minute express maintenance system that's the first of its kind in the Western region. Now, at the launch of its 15th anniversary in Takoradi, the general manager of Kwanzaa Auto, Nathaniel Kwanzaa, was excited that it will enable them serve their clients better.
Kwanzaa Auto Limited was established as an auto mechanic and fabrication workshop in 1973. Since its inception, Kwanzaa Auto Limited has earned recognition for its outstanding service delivery in the automobile engineering. The company has now developed into a standard automobile mechanic shop for the Western region and beyond. At the 50th anniversary to launch the 60-minute express maintenance system, the first of its kind in the Western region, General Manager of Kwanzaa Auto, Nathaniel Kwanzaa, believes this will serve their clients better.
Our express maintenance is coming with no extra cost. What we are doing is that we are trying to manage the traffic. All customers who are bringing their vehicles into our workshop, we have this service for them so that they will be able to have a quick service and maintenance and they will leave the workshop quickly. All these things we are doing it for our customers so that they will have the best of service and they will always have their vehicles running excellently and they will be happy.
Managing Director of Kwanzaa Auto Limited, Albert Kweku Kwanzaa, advised the youth to take up apprenticeship serious.
I ended my education in elementary level, but due to how you determine to go up to even international standards, it's up to you. Not only education. Education is very important.
Chief Executive Officer of Etuahene Automobile, Francis Etuahene, is one of the clients of Kwanzaa Auto Limited.
Kwanzaa Motors has been one of the key players in the automobile industry because some of us entering into the automobile business, we realize that at any point in time that you even have an issue with your vehicle, Kwanzaa Auto has always been there and they've been very reliable.
Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news stories, you know what to do. Just log on to our website. It's www.3news.com.
Doing never stops until the job is done. Turn your home and business into an internet highway and experience the revolution of working and playing without limits. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh to sign up for MTN Fiber for home and business today.
Wake up! We have just 50 minutes to set off.
Let's go.
We want jollof for school.
Shower time.
I'll make jollof.
Jollof? We have 45 minutes. What about the cutting, chopping, blending?
Tasty Tom Jollof Mix has all the ingredients to make jollof already mixed in the pack.
Is it going to taste the same?
So you say pa.
And if a jollof no hooking me.
Pour oil. Add 1 pack of 210 grams Tasty Tom Jollof Mix. Fry for 10 minutes. Add water, some cube, and salt. Add rice. In 45 minutes. Sharp. Let jollof now bing. Right on time.
Delicious jollof and in 45 minutes?
Wow! Easy cry. Tasty Tom Jollof Mix. Delicious jollof. Sharp. This advert is FDA approved.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's a harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water. One for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA.
Right, if you just joined us, you're watching our major news bulletin for the day. This is News 360. Some breaking news just coming in, and Parliament has, by a unanimous decision, rejected the Public Elections Regulations 2023 and has consequently directed the Electoral Commission to present a new one with the guarantor system reinstated. That's some breaking news coming in. We're going to switch over to Parliament right now to pick a bit of proceedings right now.
And then if there's anything, they get back to us as a house. But this is one voice of the house that we are sending a message accordingly to them to look at our view. Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim.
Thank you very much. Right, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right, Honorable Speaker, I rise to speak in support of the motion. And in doing so, I want to call on colleagues on both sides of the House to vote vehemently yes to adopt this report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Speaker, why am I saying so? The Committee of the Whole took into consideration most of the items that were dragging the two sides not to be able to arrive at a consensus and iron them out. So adopting this report and voting yes for the acceptance of this report, Mr. Speaker, will do this country a great deal. Mr. Speaker, why are we at where we are and where are we now? If you read the report carefully, most of the promises and the assurances that are always given, Mr. Speaker, all of them were not met. Even the latest promise and assurance that was given by the Electoral Commission
Hello, good evening. Let's do sports news now here on News 360. My name is Yao Ofusulabi, and our first story has a story on Isaac Dogbe, who is getting back to a world title shot. Later tomorrow, the 1st of April 2023, he takes on Robese Ramirez in a world title fight. That's for the WBO featherweight title. Here's a preview to the fight. When Isaac Dogbe left the London Olympics, he had already been tipped to reach the top of world boxing. He finished without a medal that year, but everyone who watched him then knew he had something special. He got his title shot in April 2018 when he was listed to fight the then unbeaten champion, Jesse Magdaleno. In that fight, he beat the champion to become the youngest world champion from Ghana at 23. He had the boxing world at his feet and, to an extension, in his fists. He defended the title against Japanese Hidenori Otake, and that was the beginning of what was a tumultuous time for Dogbe. December 2018 set up a massive fight to defend the title against Emmanuel Navarrete.
Ah, man, look. Where do I start? This fight really showed me something about my own self. At the brink of defeat, it's two ways. You can either give up or you can carry on. And I carried on. Sometimes when you give up, it hurts more than taking a punishment of this magnitude.
That fight disoriented Isaac. It changed the course of what should have been a smooth path to possibly becoming Africa's greatest ever boxer. After the second fight against Navarrete, it took him a year to get back into the ring again, and he admits it was a tough time for him.
I think the challenging thing is the mental battle. You try to put the demons to sleep. For some reason, they'll always find a way to get back in your head.
After those two losses, he had to find a new rhythm to everything. He needed something fresh. So he turned to Barry Hunter, who has been an incredible guide for many boxers.
Isaac was more like just an in-your-face type of guy, you know, just wind up and go. There you go, come on. Now he's a lot more cerebral, a lot more patient than he was then. Balance. That's what we're looking for.
Hunter had to take the long road of getting Dogbe's psyche back on course again.
When you're in a situation like Isaac was with Navarrete, you're gonna have to make a certain decision. It's a real delicate situation to be in. Good job, son.
Dogbe is back at the top of world boxing again. A chance to redeem an image that was battered in 2019. A title he desperately wants.
Take me 5 years to get back to this level. So I have something to prove. I just want to be remembered for something. Then April 1st, that's the mission.
For the many who will be looking on from the screens in Ghana, there will be one hope, and it will be that Dogbe wins against Ramirez. Every punch he lands will receive cheers across his hometown areas of Keta, Denu and Anyako, and his crowning moment will spark a big celebration across the country. It has been a while since Africa's most successful boxing nation had a world title, and Dogbe is here to bring the glory days back. Neho. Well, let's head to football now, where 8 masquerade clubs will take to the field to battle it out for supremacy in the second edition of the Connect Masqueraders Soccer Fiesta come Sunday at the 2nd Methodist AstroTurf.
The competing masquerade clubs include defending champions Oil City, Supreme, Ocean City, and Oshawa-Kumem. 3 other clubs, including Yankees Masqueraders, State Masqueraders, and Iron Fighters, will be making their debut in their second edition of the competition. The draw for the annual event was held in the studios of Connect 97.1 FM on Wednesday afternoon. 8 clubs, all in one pot, were picked and paired against each other. Defending champions Oil City were drawn against debutants Iron Fighters, and Ocean City will also take on State Masqueraders Society in a tensed derby. Speaking after the draw, event and marketing manager for Connect FM, Henry Yankee, explained expectations for this year's gala.
football is one unifying force, and so we felt that it's important we bring them together using football. So this is not the first time. We did that last year. It was super. This year we are expecting, an amazing tournament. They are all poised up. Some interesting pairings. For me, the most exciting part is how they welcomed each other, how, irrespective of how competitive it's supposed to be, they still found a space to bring out that unity.
On that note, we end the sports news here on News 360. My name is Yao Ofusula. Entertainment News will come after the break.
Wow, this place has changed, yo. Angela, look at you all grown up, yo.
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo. Hey, sister. With the wap sano and kasa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, never shrink quite bad.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Drania de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie. It's delicious, yo.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
you like no other.
You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. You like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie.
Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. Tonight, you may call me Ohenere Irajwa Nyakwa II. As we're moving on to our first story, season 6 of the popular Ghanaian TV series YOLO was relaunched under the auspices of the Ghana Health Service. Now, the program was graced by the second gentleman of the United States of America, Douglas Emhoff, at the Labone Senior High School. Here's a report on it. The U.S. second gentleman, Douglas Emhoff, who was welcomed with the cultural troupe, expressed his excitement to meet and interact with the youth.
You are responsible for yourself, and you have to be responsible for making good decisions, and you got to push back when you know something's wrong, when something feels wrong. Make sure that you're doing the right thing.
The series, which has attracted many viewers across the country, seeks to advise the youth to make wise health decisions. And Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum did not mince words in making that clear to the students gathered.
You only live life once, right? Therefore, think about leaving a legacy. Have a growth mindset that tells you that everything is possible. And if you know your life has a purpose for others and not just yourself, you're going to have to also make the right choices so that you can make the right impact in the world.
Season 6 of the YOLO series has in its cast some health officials, including the Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar Abuaje. It also has the second gentleman himself as part of its cast. Some of the movie stars, Jackie Appiah, Majid Michel and Ajiti Anand say the involvement of EMOF is a positive impact on the series.
The fact that they're interested in what we're doing, and just the fact that the relation between adults and children has become so important, especially in our age today. And so I think that it will raise more eyebrows for people to really let them find out about what this YOLO is about anyway.
I can't wait to watch the episode as well because he featured in YOLO. YOLO has been an ongoing series, right from Things We Do for Love, and I'm so happy that I'm part of history.
America's voice alone in this is very important, and the man did a cameo role in the movie in the series YOLO, which is great.
Now to our next story. The director of Ecotourism Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, Richard Jimma, is positive that the country can generate so much from ecotourism if wildlife conservations are protected.
With an increasing ecotourism industry, experts have said there's much to discover at Ghana's magnificent forests and wildlife reserves. According to data available at the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, close to 14,000 square kilometers out of the total land size of the country are wildlife conservations. Speaking ahead of TV3 and 3FM's expedition to the Shire Hills Resource Reserve and the Amajope Mountain, Director of Ecotourism, Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission, Richard Jimma, highlighted the need to protect Ghana's wildlife.
Generally, we have come to know that if we actually concentrate on the non-consumptive value of the wildlife resources, especially through tourism, there's enormous benefits that we are going to gain. And this is what we want to educate the general populace about, that there is a need for us to conserve our wildlife resources in order to promote ecotourism. If you look at the country, the value that we can get from ecotourism is enormous. The value chain that ecotourism creates. People come, they watch the animals, they stay overnight, they spend in the country, and in the end, they'll boost the economy of the country. So these are the things that when we promote within our country, we are going to ensure that the economic benefits from our natural heritage, like wildlife resources, is put to the maximum utilization.
He wants Ghanaians to join the expedition to experience nature at its best.
It's going to be a wonderful expedition, and we know that people that will be able to make it are going to enjoy it to the fullest, because nature will be at its best. We are going to see nature in the wild. Tell you much, but I rather will encourage you to go there and find out things for yourself. If you also continue from Shire Hills and go to the Amazope Mountains, I know what you expect to see, the beautiful mountains in the Volta region.
The TV3 and 3FM's expedition to the Shire Hills Resource Reserve and the Amajope Mountains comes off this Saturday, April 1, 2023.
Well, on that note, do well to join us tomorrow for the Shire Hills and Amajope expedition. It's going to be a wonderful one. And that's how we wrap up here on Entertainment News segment of News 360. My name, once again, tonight you can call me Oheneyere Irajwa Nyakwa.
Thank you, Oheneyere. It's now time for some international news.
Prosecutors in New York are preparing for Donald Trump's surrender to court officials after he became the first U.S. president to be charged with a crime. Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, says the former president will not be handcuffed for his court appearance next Tuesday. Tacopina also says Trump will plead not guilty to the charges and they will aggressively challenge the legal viability of the case. Prosecutors have been investigating the payment of hush money to an adult film star prior to Trump's election in 2016. Former porn star Stormy Daniels claims she had an adulterous affair with a former president and was paid $130,000 to keep quiet. The payment was legal, but Trump allegedly recorded it as a business expense. Falsifying business records is illegal in New York.
On that note, we conclude News 360. It came to you live from our studios here at Desawe in Kanda, Accra. My name is Parkwesi Asari.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Enjoy the rest of our programs and have a good evening.
Yanara Sassani, airport in my eye, Mojana Nanum Shegu, Nadu my eye.
Meet the new Mrs. Chima.
And I'm not sure say your hospital go happy if you hear the filler way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
I could never imagine